Hello, this is Sandy with Sandy's Crafty Creations. In the first part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a mini album gift card holder out of coin envelopes in Echo Park 6x6 paper pad Deck the Halls. So let's get started. These coin envelopes are 4 1/4 long by 2.5 inches wide, and I've got mine at the office supply. So you need 4 for each little mini album gift card holder that you plan to make. You see the flaps will fit inside of each envelope. So for the first one, I'm going to apply glue to the outside of just the flap, just on one side. Take this one and attach it to the inside of the second envelope. Make sure you line up the fold line and line up the little envelopes. This will create our cover for our mini album. Make sure that the 2 inside pockets are still open. Take your glue and apply it to the inside of the flap that's sticking out on the outside of the remaining envelope. This will be the outside of the album, so we want to close this all up. This will be the spine section, so we're closing that down. When you open it up, you will notice you still have 2 openings in the center of your little book. We're going to take the third envelope, and I'm making sure that it fits. So I'll pull that out, and I'm going to apply glue to just the flap, and I'm going to do it on both sides of this one. And carefully open up your little envelope, the front one, and slide that in. This will create our first set of pages. So line up your fold line and then make sure you've got it in straight. Burnish it down, and if there's any excess glue, just wipe it off where you don't need it to show. The 3-in-1 glue really rubs off good and doesn't leave any residue, so I like that. So we have 3 envelopes together. You see there's still an opening there, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in there. I don't want that open. That will be a page, so I want that sealed there in that towards the spine area. So we have the front cover, a page, and we're ready to insert the last envelope, which will make our gift card holder. So we still have the opening on the last envelope that are attached together. So we're going to take this one, and opposite the flap we're going to cut just a tiny bit off that end to open that up. So with your cutter, just open that up, cut off just a tiny little bit. Let me show you how much I cut off. You see it's a very narrow little piece. So that opens up the end of this one envelope only. Now you'll see that some of the flat pieces are kind of sticking up, and I don't want that, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there and attach those down. Just make sure you don't seal up the opening in the envelope on the end. So we still have our flap, and we have our opening opposite the flap in this one envelope only. And this one is going to slide into the back cover of the mini album. So I'm going to apply some glue. I'm also going to go ahead and put some on the inside of the envelope because I do want that sealed shut. And I'm going to open up the cover on the inside and slide that in. I'm sorry that it's off camera. I had to bring it in close to make sure that I got it in straight. So I have some excess glue to rub off, and I'm going to use my gummy eraser, an extra page. So we have the opening there, and I'm just going to check each section to make sure everything's sealed closed that needs to be sealed. So I think I found one that didn't get sealed, and we'll do that in just a minute. But first, let's take our pocket page that will hold the gift card and a 1-inch circle punch, and just punch a notch on one side so that when the card goes inside there, it can be seen. So there we go, there's the booklet. I'm checking each one, like I said, and I did find one that needs to be glued a little bit on the inside. Right there. So I'm just put a little glue in there. Again, I'm off camera a little bit, but you just put a little dab of glue in there and then seal it down. And if any excess comes out, just rub it off. So there we have the opening, everything sealed up towards the spine of the little book. So now we're ready to decorate. First, you will want to measure and cut a small scrap of paper to insert under the notch so that the inside little section there. So you just need a scrap of probably about an inch, inch and a half long, and so I'm going to glue that in. That just gives a finished edge on the inside of that pocket where the notch shows. And I have pre-cut my papers that I want to use on my little mini album. And you will just measure each section that you want to pattern and cut that out. And then I also ink the edges with some gold. I used Nouveau's gold mousse and rubbed it on with my fingers. So I'm just deciding which papers I want to go. So I'm going to go with the Christmas trees for the front and back cover. So I'm going to use some glue and attach that down. Covering the pages and covers with patterned paper is pretty self-explanatory, so you just measure and ink the edges and then glue everything down. So I'm going to do this, show it in a speeded up versions to save time on the video, and then I'll come back later and tell you some other details. Once all the pages in the cover were patterned, I also inked the edges of the little mini album and the spine with the gold mousse, the Nouveau gold mousse. All of the papers have been attached, and now I'm ready to add a ribbon closure. So I measured off a piece of ribbon to wrap all the way around and left extra length on the end for tying the album closed. So I'm using a green with some stitching, white stitching, And I'm going to attach this down on the front and the back of this little mini album. By covering it with a piece of scrap paper on the front and the back. So I've taken this off screen. You can't see it real well, but what I'm doing is just measuring my placement and where I want it to wrap around and where I want the tails of the ribbon to end. Again, I'm going to speed up this process to save time on the video. You will see me attaching the ribbon, holding it with a clip, and then gluing a piece of paper, contrasting paper, over the top on the front and the back. Now the ribbon is attached and I've tied it in a bow. And next I'm going to be adding some different little trims, some tree ribbon to the front. Different elements that I have in my stash. You want to look for brads, Christmas brads and trims. And I will also be adding little photo mats that you will cut. Mine were cut to about 2" by 2" squares, and then with some paper matting it, and I did ink all of it with the gold. So you're going to see all this in a speeded up version as I finish up my little mini album. My little mini album for gift card holder made out of coin envelopes is finished, and I've tied up the bow and just trimming the ends. But let's make another one. So in the next segment we're going to make one without the coin envelopes, just in case you can't find any at your store. Stay tuned. In this next segment, I will show you how to make one of these little mini albums, gift card holders, without the coin envelopes. So you will need one piece of cardstock, and I'm using cranberry. And I'm going to cut out 4 pieces that are 4 3/4 wide by 2.5 inches tall. These will make the covers, the front and back cover of the little album, and the pages. So you cut 4, and then you need to cut 1 for the gift card pocket, and that one needs to be 4 3/4 by 3.5. You will need your scoreboard. score the 4 that you cut the same on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. So I'm scoring on the right side, but I am moving over and scoring a 1/2 inch on each one, just one score line on each. For the gift card pocket, you will turn it and score it on the 3 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch on each side. Now we're ready to assemble it together. Fold and burnish all the score lines. Use a bone folder. I will assemble this together with some of the 3-in-1 glue. So first you take one of the pieces and I'm checking them to see if they're cut the same and the score lines are the same. So I'm taking one of the page sections and I'm putting glue on one side of the folded down 1/2 inch hinge. And I'm picking up another section and I'm gluing it on top of the other piece, not on the hinge. I'm gluing the hinge to one side, matching them up. Take a third one, apply glue to the hinge of the ones that are assembled together. And glue the page side down onto that hinge. Make sure they're lined up straight. And rub off any excess glue that might have oozed out from the hinges. Take your last one, apply glue to the hinge to the folded down one side. And glue hinge to hinge. And then apply glue to the one side towards the back 1/2 inch hinge piece and glue that down. So now the booklet is together and we're ready to add in our gift card pocket. Take the 1-inch circle punch and punch a notch in the center of one side of the pocket. Check it to make sure that it doesn't need trimmed down, and it does. So I'm going to trim off about, I end up trimming off about 1/4 of an inch, but you need to measure to make sure that you don't cut off too much. So I cut off a little bit at a time to make sure that I cut it the right size. Just a little bit more. And once you have it trimmed down to the size that you need, apply glue to each half-inch folded down hinge. So just on one side where the hinge is folded down, apply a line of glue. And then carefully line it up at the bottom at the fold. And I also remembered that I need to add a line of glue at the very bottom so that it's attached towards the hinge side. So now carefully line it up, top to bottom. And I got some glue on it, but that easily rubs off. 3-in-1 rubs off easily with your finger or with the eraser. I'm holding it down and burnishing it and letting it dry. I am now ready to pattern and decorate my mini album. I cut out my papers from the Graphic 45 Christmas Carol paper collection, and I am inking all the edges with the gold Nouveau mousse. And I'm going to be speeding up the video here to save time. It is all done the same as the previous one. I add ribbon to tie and add different decorations, so just follow along. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I want to wish you a very happy holiday and Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.